All right. Thank you, Leah. Okay. So let's see if she's here. There she is. Panelist. Unmute. Oh, there she is.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, I just muted you. Sorry.
Whoopsies.
Hey, Melissa, what's going on?
Hi, Todd.
We're both wearing blue today.
Yes. Synchronized. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, no problem. We're actually live on Facebook now, so I'm going to just go in and pull it up.
What did I do?
What'd you do?
1 second. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I feel so disconnected from technology. It's like, this should be my generation, I think, but
I think it has. Yeah. I think it has.
People seem to navigate it better than me.
No, I think it has something to do with what we're going through, basically. Let me say some quick hellos.
Okay.
And then share it to the Soulogy network and to some of the affiliated groups.
Amazing.
Let me give a shout out to Rebecca Williams, who tirelessly does administrates the Soulogy group, and that's like 200 posts a day and people wanting to join. So I just want to say thank you to Rebecca. I hope you see this. Shout out to Jim McCarty and that group over at the Event is Happening, Circle of Life, Anna Maria Garcia, 13 Dimensions of Consciousness, which is Sylvia George and that group, Spiritual Healers, 5D High Vibe Tribe with Sean Christopher and that bunch. Rising Above is Lisi and Damon. Let's see, New Earth Ascending Soul was started by Melinda Cullum. It's a pretty good group. 11 Movement, Jessica Woods, Infused Lights, Gregory James, I think is his name. Galactic Federation of Light, Twin Flame Healing Network. Yeah, okay. Hello, Romeo Barron. What's going on? Kathy Waldowski, Jania Gazda from Vienna. Kim Longo, Carla Dawn Mitsis, Laney Reed, Nicole McAdoo. Good to reconnect with you. Maria Iverson, Shaz Hargreaves, Amanda Henning, Sue Baxter Fitz, Heather Nielsen, Jane Moore, Sasha Grace from Byron Bay, Crystal Hardy, Doreen Kinney. Thank you, Doreen, for your continued love and support and contributions. It means a lot to me and everybody's contributions. Jeanette Smith Wazalowski from Pennsylvania, Stephen Michael Jones. All right. Franco Di Nicola's in the house. He's coming back soon. I think he's coming back in about a week. We're going to be having another conversation. Nicole Harris, Colette Avery, Aaron Lee, and Lynn Starkey, old Facebook friend. Thank you for coming. Good to see everybody. Welcome to Soul Speaks 5D. Second show of the day. We're with the Divine Goddess, Blu-ray, Melissa Ford, raw and real and authentic. So down to earth. And welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I just want to say, I know that since the last time, hello, Paul Castaneda and Leah Gore here in the Zoom room, we talked. We had a great conversation. I don't know why. We've got some kind of
galactic connection.
Lineage. Yeah, some kind of connection. I feel like I'm talking to Morgan's daughter when I talk to you. But then you went off Facebook, which I really admire in you and other people. You really had a great show last time. And what I love about you is that you talk about whatever you transmit with the human fully engaged, fully respected, fully honored. And everyone knows, I believe, the human is the hero. So to you and those like you, I just say thank you. Because to me, those are the most real transmissions, downloads, and challenge you can get. It's, hey, I'm one of you, and I'm going through a bunch of shit, and I'm getting off Facebook for a while. But
yeah, that's exactly it.
That's it. So evidently, And then I saw a picture of you and your coworkers, and I don't see much. And I really just pick up energy when I go down the news feed. And I remember seeing a picture of you and your coworkers, and obviously there was a post with it, but the energy of it was just like magnificent. Like I could see your effect in that little, that little cubicle of the matrix, where you work at.
It's so bizarre because last time we did talk a lot about my earthly 3D experience while being in 5D, connecting to the higher planes while living a very 3D life, right? While I'm transitioning into a more spiritual based practice, more soulful, heart-centered practice. But of course we have to eat and all of that. So like you said, having that rootedness and groundedness and being able to navigate my way through all of those levels of our human experience. And what it's so funny, I feel like I talked to you just yesterday while simultaneously like forever ago, because so much has happened. I feel like
what's been going on? What's been going on? You obviously had a huge shift, and we all know that they only come when you go into the abyss.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I can't even recall the last time that we talked, because like I said, it seems like so recent while simultaneously being so far away. But I remember right after I talked to you, I was like super high vibe, and then I slipped into the abyss like right after that, and it felt like eternity. Like it felt like forever that I was just retreating and going within, and sort of like, I had to cut off my Reiki clients. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and sort of really focus on processing what I needed to and releasing what I needed to, clearing in order to welcome more. So a lot has definitely happened. And I reached out to you. I'm so bad with time.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea. Don't ask me, because I have no idea.
Okay, I know that this was recently that I reached out to you because I had a really bizarre experience. I was like, okay, if anybody is going to be able to provide me with some clarity in terms of what I'm experiencing right now, it's going to be Todd and Morgan. So I sent you guys the same message being like, someone get back to me because I need help. I need help processing what just happened to me.
Yeah, I remember now. And go ahead and tell everybody what happened, if you want to.
So
I know it's quite personal.
It was I want to say it was probably like a week or so ago, and I'm very sensitive to energy. That's why I work with it. So whenever there is shifts, whether that's a spike in the Schumann resonance, if that's a solar flare, if a planet goes in retrograde, I don't keep tabs on any of these things, but I can definitely sense when there are shifts occurring, which is very frequently, and they're ramping up and becoming closer together. And so I'm just like, what happens in my experience is I feel these sensations and then I process them, and then the awareness comes after. And I usually just ask like, what was that? And a messenger will come to me, you'll post something, I'll find something very synchronistic to confirm my experience and say, oh, that's what that was. And there's like immediate resonance and connection and understanding in terms of what that was.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to you because the whole day I felt very dizzy. I felt so ungrounded, and I could feel that my crown chakra was incredibly open. I was getting a lot of information, although I was having trouble grounding it and processing it. And I had someone actually do Reiki on me, which did help with the dizziness. But then at nighttime when I was going to bed, I felt like full body electricity and just surges of energy where all of my muscles were contracting and releasing and contracting and releasing. And I moved through this because this sensation isn't new to me. I'm like, okay, well, sometimes that's what Kundalini feels like as it's working through and releasing blockages. But then that ceased, and then it stayed that way. I was like, okay, this is new. Yeah. And it actually forced an out-of-body astral projection experience where I found myself in this space. I couldn't see anything. It just looked kind of like there was like a purple haze. That's all that I could see. But I was noticeably out of my body, and I'm talking to myself saying, what is this experience that's happening?
Yeah.
Like I've never had this experience. I mean, I travel very often and frequently, but usually I'm sleeping. Like that's the experience that I have. So to do that in a conscious state was very alarming to me. And and when I have fear, when I'm out of my body, it snaps me right back into my body.
Yeah.
Like this is something that I've been trying to practice and work with and journey and travel outside of the physical vessel. But the second that I have any fear, right back, except that didn't happen this time. I had fear and I was still like stuck in this space of being like, oh crap, I'm still not in my body. What's happening? And eventually I wound up coming back. I don't know, time wasn't there. I have no idea about that. But I got back and then I had sleep paralysis. I couldn't move my body. And the one thing that validated my experience was that my cats the whole time were like jumping up beside me and they were acting very strange. So they've always been my cue or the validation that I've needed throughout my spiritual awakening to say there's definitely a shift in energy. I can trust them to validate me.
thank God for the Lyrians.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they've been great protectors for me, and they've been my anchors, and they're my healers. I love them so much.
Yeah.
So I had to reach out to you because I was just like, what was that? I've never had a forced out of body experience just from that energy surge. But what I felt from that was that I needed to exit my body in order to get that upgrade.
Yeah.
And after that, it did noticeably feel like a shift in my energy in terms of being able to work with, for me, it was all solar plexus. It was all having to do with upgrading my ego. I personally don't believe in ego death. I think that we can integrate our ego and have a healthy ego. We need some identity here on the earthly plane.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? So it's just like the ego for me was the inferior ego would come up, and it was learning how to really further put that on a backseat in order to live in my authentic truth, be even more raw and real. And that's always my goal, is to be as honest as possible, as transparent as possible. And then, like you were talking about my work setting, now I'm being even more transparent than I was before. If before people were looking at me like I was weird, now they're definitely like, okay, she's on another level. Like, I don't even know that she's speaking English right now.
Do you do light language at work?
I do. Yeah.
Do you really?
I absolutely do. Yeah. And it's just it's I don't necessarily explain that experience, but I realized that I'm radiating a frequency, I'm radiating an energy which is felt, and it is helping people to upgrade and to awaken. And I'm noticing conversations shift in terms of what people are discussing and talking about. So it's been really
a little micro of the macro going on there, because there's been a number of people that we've come across in the work that we do, and then also that have messaged like you did, and that the way Morgan describes it is the Kundalini has always been something that comes in and then it goes, but like you said, the energy came in and it stayed, and we got the same thing. It went from the lower chakras up into the solar fully, and then kind of leaked into the heart, right? A little bit. And then later, we had couple more episodes, and then it kind of went into the higher heart, leaked into the throat. And it's not the last one I remember.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was feeling. And Morgan got back to me and let me know that you guys had a very similar sort of experience, which just helped me put my mind at ease, because I was pretty alarmed, like, as it was happening.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been more heart-centered truth emerging through the throat, and it's been more heart-centered action coming through the solar plexus for me particularly.
Yeah, and I pointed this out on a couple of shows, but because it's you know, we refer to it as the sacred sexual vibration, or the sacred sexual energy, and we obviously experienced it together, which was very soulgasmic, which was kind of you know, it's kind of interesting when you have 200 female orgasms and you're a man in 2 hours. So I can't really, you know, that's just like mind blowing. But the point is that you were one. There was another beautiful lady that had reached out, no solicitation at all, saying, "Hey, look what happened to me." So my point is, it's happening to the individuals. It can happen in couples, but the energy's there. So a lot like what you're describing at work is a micro of what's going on, and you being, you know, the transmitter of that frequency. You know?
Yeah, and it's really what I'm also doing is I shouldn't say doing. I'm kind of surrendering. I'm always practicing surrender, which also has to do with solar plexus, and it wants control. It wants to know what's going on. It needs to understand what's happening. And so really just consciously and deliberately surrendering and being a witness to my experience and what's unfolding before me, and letting, you know, my surroundings and the conversations that I'm having and the people that I'm attracting sort of tell me where my place is, what my role is, what my purpose is, and how to maneuver through that. So it's becoming more and more of a flow state. It's becoming more of a co-creation, and I'm feeling more and more that I am simultaneously doing and being at the exact same time.
Yeah. It's like alignment. It's like the human is taking less time to integrate, you know, put into to actualize the download. Now, do you get? I mean, I know we're always connected, but do you get like downloads every day?
I would say. I would say. Yeah.
Have they sped up? I mean, has the frequency of them sped up to you in the last few months?
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly
Yeah, I do feel like it just keeps ramping up, and the more that it ramps up, the easier it is to process and integrate and to get that awareness of what this experience is. Because while you're maneuvering through it, it's just like, it's darkness. It's just like, let's try and figure our way through this. Like, I don't always have the words or the language.
I surrender.
I surrender to what's happening. Exactly. Like some people feel like so confident in like, this is definitely what this was. But most times I'm like, I don't know what the heck just happened. But maybe I'll understand one day. I just trust and have faith.
I went through, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, and I started to really, I did. I, you know, fully brought in the masculine, the true masculine. That's the best way I could describe it. But I had a pretty prolific experience down at the beach with Morgan. Thank God she was there. But because I was in that mode of, but so right before it happened, she sensed it. She's like you. She said she knew something was coming for me. She said, "It'd be a good idea if you use these words the next few days. I surrender. Yes, please." So I did, and I still do. You know, I still do. More and more.
It's so beautiful that I was thinking about this today. I've felt in the recent past even, very lonely, because I feel very much like a way shower for my tribe, for my community. I'm noticing that when people interact with me or spend any length of time with me, activations start popping off for them left, right, and center, because I see them clearly. I see exactly where they are, and I'm able to reflect back to them what it is that they're needing in that moment that will help them process, help them clear, and help them up level. However, I haven't always had that guide or that mentor or that tribe for me. I haven't always had that person that I can look to say, what is happening right now? Can you see me clearly right now in my experience? Because sometimes we need that mirror reflection in somebody else to say, yeah, you're definitely going through some stuff, like you just said with Morgan, being like, you know, being able to give you that internal, that intuitive guidance, because we're also channels and messengers for each other.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. That's what this show's all about. You know, to me, it is, like I said, you know, our highest activations come from each other. You know, just having that discussion where the human is an equal participant with all of our multidimensional aspects. I mean, that's the way I'd put it. Now, you have an interesting template, because most of the people that I come across in the work I'm doing, most of their interaction is here in the virtual, you know, in the virtual world, on the internet. You're very much anchored in the community, and even like with your work. So you're actually doing this stuff, you know, like real time frontline of the apocalypse, right there in the trenches. You know?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but even just trying to navigate getting on here, I was like,
How do I
so
do?
like bumbly and being like, what is this? So it's definitely like I admire, because I think that you maybe have more reach, but I'm always so engulfed in the present moment with that human interaction and that person that's in front of me, because I do feel like I can transmit so much more information than just the words that I'm speaking, because I understand that my aura is very strong and I'm relaying a lot of information beyond what that physical interaction is. But that's where my element is just like, if I can just sit in front of somebody and look into their eyes, look into their soul, like I just know both of us are leveling up from that experience. And I think that that's what I've been a witness to recently, is coming to that realization of, I am a powerful activator. I will awaken things in somebody if they're in my presence long enough. And I have struggled so hard with the solar plexus and having an inferior ego and not owning my authentic truth and what my gifts and abilities are, right? Being too humble, being too modest and meek, and saying like, well, maybe, like, I don't know, like, no, it's fine. Like, and it's like, now I'm really stepping into my power to say, no, this is a gift of mine and I need to embrace this fully. And I need to speak truthfully, openly, authentically, because I'm not serving myself or the people who need these activations at this time.
Yeah, that seems to be a really big deal right now too. You know, in as I journey with Morgan, there's always seems to be the feminine energy goes first. You know, like they take the higher ground because they started there. You know, even though they were suppressed, they were women's intuition and all that. But recently, some of the transmissions she's received have been, you know, it's time to step into your power fully, just like you're saying. You know, it's no more being too modest or too humble. Own it, but, you know, not, you know, real demonstratively, just in a humble
real
way.
Confident, it's just a self-confidence. And I received a really powerful transmission message channel. I can't identify exactly the source, but it was all regarding the solar plexus and the authentic self, and being able to identify exactly when you are balanced. And it's when it's underactive, you're going to have that self-doubt, you're going to have that inferiority complex, and you're going to be really easily swayed by your circumstances outside of you. And I find that a lot of empaths fall under this area because they don't know how yet to own their power, and they're so sensitive to all the energy around them, they easily get swept up in that. And then there's the superior ego, or when your solar plexus is overactive. And this is when it's like, you need to listen to me. I have this point of view. I've had this experience, and you need to see from my point of view. And it's they're pushing their energy onto you. And it's the pendulum is going to swing, right? This is one of the universal laws. So oftentimes when we're trying to find our power, we're going to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. But then perfect balance is just the ability to say, this is my truth, and I don't need to prove it to anybody, because this is me and I'm owning that. And there is a very soft, gentle confidence in that. It's not an arrogance. It's just a certainty within yourself.
Yeah, it's like it is what it is. And I love the way you describe that, because as you're describing it, I get this picture, you know, that pendulum you're talking about, but the solar in the middle, the authentic, this is just what it is. So you're describing that apprehension, not stepping up, being one side of it. To me, that's almost like the wounded feminine frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, the really loud one, hey, you better listen to me or else, that's the wounded masculine, right? That's how I saw it. That's how I kind of see it, because they were suppressed. The feminine energy was suppressed for so long. So obviously, I mean, we've seen evidence of this in the shows we've done. But so you can understand it. And on the masculine, you can understand it because he was fed a bunch of bullshit that he ran the world, basically.
And on the other spectrum of that, being really programmed and conditioned from the get-go, from birth, to believe like, you're less than if you embrace your feminine side, and then you have to put on that armor all the time rather than say, I'm human, like I have emotions too.
Yeah. I think that term, though, softer, Morgan uses that a lot. He used to tell me over the years that, well, I can't wait till you're a little softer. I'm like, all right. No, but no, really, I think like what you're talking about when you say, you have that confidence and you're humble about it, and you know what you do. And that the way you're describing it is, it's not even like you have to explain it to people. You're just there in that presence, holding that space that you are, and then you are along the road enough to know what's happening when you see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been coming through a lot for me since the last time that we talked. Was even our conversation last time, I remember being really so stiff in my body and being like, oh my God, people are watching me and they're judging me. Like, it was all my ego still coming through. And I was just like, afterwards, I was just like, you need to chill. Like, you just need to be yourself.
Yeah.
And those that are aligned with you are going to love the energy. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And for me, the perfectionist has really been taking a backseat, because I've been going through, in my time away from Facebook, I've been doing a lot of inner child work, a lot of inner child healing, and that was definitely something that I had to work through, for sure.
Now, was there some things that precipitated that, and was there particular things that you had to work on? Because I'm sure, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. And with the other stuff you're pulling down, it would make sense. But were there particular things that you had to clear or face or embrace?
Yeah, a lot. I wouldn't even know. It's so, what? It's great, because I'm finding that with the clearing, while they can sometimes be more intense, because like I said, I do feel like the energy is ramping up. I'm noticing that you're able to lump a lot of it together and clear it. So you're not always going to have an awareness of the exact experience or belief system that you're clearing, but it's just like a lump sum of stuff that you're able to move through. But one thing specifically that I cleared recently was in the sacral chakra, regarding growing up without a father, without a masculine role model in my life, and not knowing how to interact with my divine partner, not always feeling safe to open up and be totally vulnerable and intimate. I have felt more connected to my masculine energy, I guess, in that sense, rather than being, receptive and open and vulnerable and soft there. So I had this massive clearing where it hit me. It was one of those downloads where just a ton of information just struck me like lightning, and it all sort of like, I could see it so clearly as an image, which is how I know it was sort of given to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To process it and just understand it before my eyes. And he was beside me, and I just started sobbing, but it was the most cathartic release ever. I wasn't like practicing my pain, because to me, I'm so sensitive. The tears actually feel different to me. when I'm releasing, my tears are cold. And when I'm living in my pain, they're like warm and they sting my face. And so I'm releasing, and I looked at him and I just said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I have had this wall up. I didn't realize that I was so wounded from not having that role model in my life that I just didn't know how to be vulnerable with you fully and entirely.
Wow.
He would see glimpses of this, but I put the pieces together. And the reason why I hid that from myself, and the reason why I feel healing is an ongoing journey forever, is because we're always trying to protect ourselves. And so this was like really deep rooted stuff where I always convinced myself I was okay with not growing up with a dad because I was trying to protect my mom.
Yeah.
I never wanted her to feel guilty or ashamed. And so I was like, oh, it's fine. Everything is fine. Like it turned out exactly how it was supposed to turn out.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been so much softer and so much more vulnerable and able to express my emotions as they arise, allowing myself to move through those.
Sounds like you removed a masculine wound there, I mean, and then that seemed to be prevalent about, I don't know, say like 2 to 4 weeks ago, like, because I saw it in women and
that's when it happened. Yeah.
And what was your partner's reaction?
He held space for me beautifully.
How long have you, I'm sorry, go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you, go ahead.
Oh no, that's totally fine. He was just able to really take it in and listen and not interject, not feel like he had to have a rebuttal or a response or to fix me or to make it better or to make me stop crying. Like he just allowed me to really let it go, and it just felt so cleansing. It was
That's
really
beautiful. And so, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been in the relationship?
6 years, I think. 6 years.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
We actually had, I think that it may have been a lot longer than I thought since I talked to you last. We had a sacred ceremony.
Wow.
Like union, spiritual, where we fully on all levels committed and given ourselves to each other. So I don't know if I told you. Thank you so much. He is my twin flame. I wanted to bring that up last time and it just didn't come up.
I didn't know that about you. I had no idea.
I am in a twin flame partnership, yes.
So what's it been like to be in a relationship for 6 years and navigate this ascension with someone like that? That's not something you hear a lot about. You hear about a lot of people coming together, quickly and recently, but what has that been? Is he in the same, I mean, does he get downloads and trends like you do, or?
I would say that he does. We're at the same level expressed as polar opposites. While I really resonate, obviously, while I really resonate with, spirituality and the spiritual language that comes along with that, I can see that he's getting the exact same information. It's like we have these telepathic connections and we move through and level up through the same things at the same time, even if not through each other, even when we are apart, but he's so physical. He's like really in the physical world, but he's definitely
soldier.
At a higher level.
Now,
he really is.
Now, in regard to that Kundalini Chi, crazy energy that's now anchored and rising, have you guys experienced that together? Has anything changed, I guess, and I don't mean intimacy like in the old view. I just mean intimacy can be holding hands or whatever. But has anything changed in the last couple of months in regard to the sacred sexuality vibration or the energy between you?
Yeah, I would say that the physical intimacy has lessened, while the emotional and mental and spiritual intimacy has increased.
Yeah.
So we're nourishing it on different levels. However, it's almost like our energy needs to be very balanced and aligned in order for us to come together to connect on all levels, because it's almost like without talking about it, we understand that we're giving each other our energy. So if we are processing something heavy, we don't want to give that to them just for the physical connection. It needs to be more than that.
Yeah. It's taking a back seat now. That's what we would say. Yeah.
But it's still like on all other levels, the intimacy has definitely deepened, especially with that sacral chakra clearing for me. I'm just like,
yeah, I was going to say, I was going to say, if it hasn't happened yet, I'm sure more is going to happen. Because, other people we've run into are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
That.
But I also feel like we're just, I don't know, for me, in my experience, we're just, while we're still very much in the physical world, it feels lighter. It feels less dense, right?
Yeah.
We are able to maneuver through that multi-dimensional self and all of those experiences, which almost make it more challenging sometimes to connect that way physically. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Does he ever feel like Darren on Bewitched? Like the mortal man with the witchy woman?
That is the perfect way to describe it. 100%, yes. But you know what? Like we came together 6 years ago, and we were still very much in 3D. Like I haven't been in awakened to all of this for very long. Although because we came together, I think that accelerated it, right? Yeah. The second that we met each other and gravitated towards each other, like it felt like mountains were moving for us in order to have like a pathway cleared for us to just like fly through ascension and to get this like caught up to speed really fast. So we've gone through a lot of traumatic, I'll describe it as traumatic because of the intensity of it, transitions personally and together in our jobs, our roles, in our physical, like our homes, like everything in every way has like crumbled, rebuilt so many times. Like when I say 6 years, it feels like we've been together for eternity, like for infinity and beyond.
There's a lot of resets and the leveling up, it seems like, with these relationships. You ever find that you have to surrender or release each other in some, energetically, etherically, and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are really challenging times to move through for sure.
Yeah.
I do feel that our soul contract that we've agreed upon is that we will remain physically together.
Yeah.
However, we give permission and space for each other to emotionally, mentally depart from each other. Yeah. But physically and spiritually, we're always connected. If that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Now, are you? Have you had any awareness of the third energy that you produce? The creative energy that you produce. So people could talk about the golden child. Have you had any awareness of that? And if so, what does it look like?
You know what? I haven't heard of anything like that, but the second that you said the creative energy or the third energy that you create together just makes so much sense to me. Yeah. So while I haven't heard anything, I have no previous knowledge of what that could mean. The way that I've interpreted what you've just said is that we are creating something new. And it's interesting that you say that, because I'm building up my spiritual practice, which is really building itself. I don't have a website. I don't market. Like you said, I'm not really on social media, but the referrals are coming in and it's building on its own. And the same is going for him. And we're co-creating a fitness and wellness space that is so harmonious together and synergetic. And we really are collaborating in this conscious creation to serve our community, to serve those that feel called to heal with us on a deeper level.
Wow, that's powerful. What are you going to call it? Do you know yet?
Well, no, actually.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
he
okay.
his last name is Sharp, so he's gone under Sharp Fitness. So we're
Mhm.
just thinking Sharp Fitness and Wellness.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not attached to a name really.
No, no, no. But yeah, just the fact that you're actually doing that, the physical manifestation of that energy, that's a very powerful impression onto the realm. It really is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that pattern is out there. You're seeing that pattern out there with couples.
We do feel like we're laying a blueprint for people to follow, because right now our setup and what that looks like is we have a house, and there's 3 levels, and the top level, like the room that I'm in now, would be considered a waiting room, because he has back-to-back clients. Like he's very, like I said, he's very successful, so his manifestation skills are insane. And so he has back-to-back clients. So this is like a transitional room, but then I also have my Reiki room, and I have a meditation room, and they're beautiful, and they're everything that I dreamed about. And when we got aligned on the same level, this happened so just spontaneously and
Wow.
immediately. I was really like blown away. I'm like, what is this magic? Like, we just
That's what
had
it
to be
is.
aligned. Yeah. The second we were aligned in our vision, this was so easy for us. And then on the main floor, he has his personal fitness private training studio. And, you know, I see the way that my clients and his clients look at us after the session, and it really is like we're wizards, because they're just like, how do you do what you do? Like, I feel
So
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 lighter.
you actually combine the two. So how do you do that? I mean, like if I came in, I work out with him a little bit, then I go sit with you, or how does that work?
You could. We have actually had shared clients with people that train with him and then see me for Reiki. But it's great because with it being multi-level, and then we actually live in the basement. We live in the same space. So I think that it doesn't make sense for people to not live and work in the same community at the very least. So I think that
Yeah.
we're laying a blueprint for people to say, you can live in alignment with your soul's purpose and mission, um, kind of a lot easier than we've ever
Yeah.
believed it to be, or that we've been taught, told, conditioned to believe.
Yeah.
So we're doing it, and I think that it's a great example for people.
Yeah. You can make it the way you want it, right? I mean, you can create what you want.
Yeah,
Really.
exactly.
That's what it gets down to. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be cool, is to have like you see those like apartments or a flat on the top floor, and then they have like a shop or a restaurant or whatever on the bottom
Yeah,
floor. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to us
So
anyway.
and now you do some stuff online, right? Don't you? Didn't you
Mhm.
tell me you just started that last? And so are you guys looking to expand it to expand that part of it too online? Like the
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. So like I said, right now, a lot is flowing. I feel very much in the flow, in total alignment. Things are just happening for me, and I'm just like, okay, I'm open to receive it. This is what I've been asking for so long. This is what I feel like I'm finally reaping what I've sown, right? This
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
I've done the work for so long, and I've just trusted the process, and I've been sorting through the darkness and being like, hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel. And now it's like, holy crap, it's happening, it's here. Um, but I just lost my train of thought.
No, we were just talking about the online presence and that type of thing.
The online process, yes. And so recently I've actually had I've distance Reiki clients in Denmark, California, um,
Wow.
Washington. Like, a lot of people for distance healing have been reaching out to me. So right now I only have Instagram. So
Hmm.
it's at Healing with Mel. And they've just been, yeah, I've just been sharing, right? I'm just like, I'm here if you want me. And people have been coming and finding me. So it's been really awesome, because I feel like, I'm being steered in that direction, is to broaden my community, to be more out there, to be that channel, that conduit, that storyteller, that educator and teacher. Because I definitely was put here to talk and to share.
You and me both, I guess.
Yes.
So what's the latest? What are you feeling now? What's out there now? I mean, this month is started with a bang, I think.
Yeah, I felt a huge shift. Like I said, I've just been in this really amazing flow state where this just every day is just there's just magic flowing all over it. I'm just riding it and taking in every second of it that I can, because of course there's the ebb and the flow, and it's all good. It's almost like you receive all of this beautiful abundance, but then at some point we have to integrate it deeper and to process all of this information and all this high vibe and to expand ourselves eventually.
Now, I think that'd be an interesting show, you and him together. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
You should ask Darren, Samantha. Ask Darren.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
we've had a few. Morgan's lined up a few. They're not. That's a tough thing to do. I can relate, respect that. But I love to ask that question, and the answer is always the same. They're like, yeah, that's the perfect analogy. Yeah. Does she twinkle her nose? Make things happen.
What's really funny is like if ever he's just like getting on my nerves or picking at me, or, whatever, annoying me, I'll draw the Choku symbol, which is really a beautiful Reiki symbol that's just sending you so much love and energy, but I'll just like draw it and stop sending that to me. Like, he's like, you're a witch.
Yeah. I got a great story on that one. So we had our divine ceremony in last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so then
was
we
it
went
only last summer?
Yeah, it was actually be tomorrow. It would be 1 year.
Wow.
So a few days later, we went to a hotel for 4 days. And so we had some multi-dimensional experiences. And the night before, she morphed into different things. And one of them was...
I remember that.
Remember that? One of them was Callie. Callie with the tongue hanging out. And I made a joke, and I had my back to her. And she said, "Are you being a smart ass?" And I said, "No," with a big smile on my face. And I pulled the shirt off the hanger, and it was one of those hangers with the little knob on the end that fits in the groove in the hotel. And it flew out of the air and landed right on my toe in the worst possible pain I could ever imagine. And concentrated on a pinpoint, and she just laughed for days. And I had a big blood blister for a while. She brings that up every now and then, like if I get a little smart act. She'll say,
right? It'll come back to you.
Yeah, awesome. So you are doing stuff online. You can be found at Healing with Mel on Instagram, right?
Yes.
And do you just do Reiki, or do you also counsel people or any other type of energy work?
You know what? I've again in coming into my power and really letting my environment and my family, my friends, my clients tell me what my gifts are and the ways that I'm influencing and I'm helping them, rather than saying like, this is what I do, because I've actually found that I've limited myself by saying that, oh, I'm a Reiki master practitioner. I'm so much more than that. And I've only learned that recently in interacting with other practitioners, in talking to people that have had Reiki, perhaps with other people. I'm like, oh, I'm doing something else. Like I've definitely I call it Reiki Plus, because they're getting a lot more than just Reiki. I'm accessing shamanic healing, angelic healing, galactic healing. It's all energy medicine, but the transmissions that come through are, assisting people with upgrading their blueprint with, like I said, these activations, helping to evolve their DNA, like on a cellular level. I'm transmitting messages, channels. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but all very intuitive, and really awesome. I have the best people that I see, and it's so beautiful because I know the seeds that we plant are not always the flowers that we see blossom. And in my experience, I get to see both most times, which has been so amazing, and I'm just blown away by it.
That says a lot about you and your energy field. Is there anything that you want to do or say before we sign off? I usually ask people like you this, if you want to channel or light language, or if there's just a message you want to get across to people, or anything you have to say. The floor is yours.
Just to surrender. That would be, if I could just summarize this in one word, it would just be surrender, because there's so much beauty and magic in that. There's that fear of the unknown and taking that leap of faith, but it's just, that's where the magic is. That's where everything happens for you. So
yeah, you speak the same language as Morgan. There's no doubt about that. Healing with Mel on Instagram, and then can they also contact you on Messenger? I know you're not on Facebook a lot, but can they? Okay, so if you want
absolutely, for sure.
Reiki Plus, which means anything's possible, anything goes. And you heard her description. And if it resonates with you, talk to your partner, and let's have a chat sometime. That'd be really
I will actually.
You take care. Thank you so much. It's great seeing you again. I really
Thank you so much, Todd. Love you so much.
Love you too. See y'all later. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.